Here it is, folks, the biggest change at the Royal Canadian Mint that we've seen in 70 years. The new portrait, the effigy of Charles III, has been unveiled and is now being struck in coins. We'll look at that later, but first let's outline some of this news. CoinNews.net is reporting on this. Earlier in the week, on November the 14th, the Royal Canadian Mint ushered in a new era in the history of Canadian coins when its president and CEO, Marie Lemay, unveiled and struck the very first Canadian circulated coin bearing the effigy of His Majesty King Charles III at the Mint's manufacturing facility in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And there it is, remarkable. The 2023 dated $1 circulation coins becomes the first displaying the portrait of a new monarch in 70 years after the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II graced Canada's coins from 1953 to 2023. For 20 of those years, which is the longest that we've seen, we had Susanna Blunt's cartoonish image of the Queen, which is the worst effigy of any that I've seen from the mints in the Commonwealth nations. The contemporary portrait of King Charles III is the work of Canadian artist Stephen Rosati, who also participated in the unveiling ceremony. The royal effigy on the coinage is an important Canadian symbol, said the Honorable Chrystia Freeland, who's a Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. I think she's also a Marxist, if I'm not mistaken. Stephen Rosati's portrait is a fitting tribute, and Canada is proud to mark His Majesty's birthday with the striking of the first circulation coin. And by the way, this was on King Charles' birthday on November the 14th. And Mr. Rosati is only the third Canadian artist to have designed a royal effigy for Canada's coinage since 1990. He is preceded by Dora de Pedere Hunt from 1990 to 2002, and Susanna Blunt, which was the 20-year reign, which was the absolute worst. The Mint plans to begin circulating a small volume of coins in all circulating denominations by this December, through public coin exchanges and by meeting new market demand through the National Coin Management Program. And the addition of His Majesty's effigy to the obverse of bullion and numismatic coins will also begin in December of 2023. The following collector products are being issued to commemorate this milestone. Some first strikes for the uncirculated set, special wrap roll collection, and 50-cent special wrap roll collection. Some of you may be interested in that. I don't know that I will. I mean, part of me would like to get one just to kind of see what it looks like and the depth of the art on it. But still, we really don't know by the renderings that we see that I've shown you here. It's kind of tough to gauge depth. I think that's going to be an important thing. It does look like it's more detailed and more realistic than Susanna Blunt's version of the Queen. So we'll see how that goes. But this is what the coins look like minted. There you can see it does appear to have, at least on this image, it appears to have a little bit more depth and more detail, although it does look kind of, at least on this view, we're not looking at it close, and depending on the light, it almost looks like a grape. I don't know. It's kind of difficult to really say. With the minted on the King's birthday, and there is the rendering of it, which doesn't really give a detail. This is an image of the coins coming hot off the press there. These are the loonies, the dollar coin. They also have a $2 coin known as the toonie. And there's again another rendering. This rendering looks like it's a very shallow field based off the shadowing here. With the only one thing, maybe it's that way because of its pronounced ears, so that we know this is going to be the highest part of the coin there. It's kind of hard to see a full-fledged ear on a coin. We've not seen that in 70 years either. For males, typically it's the case there, but there it is, and there we can see on a coin in a capsule for 2023, and that actually looks pretty good there from this angle. But nonetheless, there's where that is. There's the rendering again, a little closer look at it. Now we're going to watch a little bit of a video to see exactly how this thing looks coming out of the press. Maybe we'll get a better example. I've not seen this, but we're gonna look at this together and see what this thing looks like. It'll be very, very interesting to see here. Here we go. Don't know if we're really getting a good feel to that. This looks like B-roll footage. There we go. And being put on there from Global News, this video comes from. And a little bit of pieces there. I think just B-roll interviews and the like, but maybe we'll get a little closer. Looks like we're going to get a close look here. There it is. There's the effigy. Looks to be fairly shallow relief there. And it'll be very interesting to see how that's going to look on maple leafs with the security features with the radial lines. I imagine it'll really pop out for that for maple leafs. I'm kind of interested and excited to see how that's going to come about there. There's a close-up of the rendering. But we'd like to see more close-ups of the actual coin, for sure. But nonetheless, there it is. It's pretty amazing to see how this thing is coming together and so late. They did say in another piece that I saw that it takes quite a long time, up to a year, to really make these things come out. But the Royal Mint, they were on top of it. I guess they had it going first, but the Royal Canadian Mint, a little different situation there. Took quite a bit longer. There it is. Let's pause that. There you can see it. That's interesting. And there it looks a little bit more of a greater depth of field depth there, but the hair looks pretty good, at least on the loonie. Of course, in silver, it'll probably be a little bit different how it's portrayed, and gold as well, and the gold maple leafs. But presumably, I assume that as this thing is being kind of piecemealed out for some circulated coins, likely by 2024, we should see maple leafs. In fact, if you go to many of the bullion dealers' websites, you will only see the 2024 Canadian maple leafs with the reverse image, the image of the maple. And for those of you who aren't aware, the side with the monarch is always the obverse, no matter which Commonwealth nation that they are struck. And of course, it'll be very interesting to see how the Perth Mint deals with this and how they handle the effigy for King Charles, because so far, for the lunar coins, the dragon, there are queen versions that are being released. Those will be through May, and then after May, then they will convert to Charles, and presumably there will be two dragon coins, one with the queen and one with the king, her son, Charles III. But there it is. Let's see if we can get maybe it'll give us another image there. It's kind of stopped, and you can really get an idea of that. This is probably the best image in my view, showing these loonies here with the king's portrait on it. That gives you a better sense of the detail, including the aging of his face, which is, we certainly did not see that with Susanna Blunt's version of the Queen. So this is definitely more kind of an appropriate. This obviously got the blessing of the king, as all Commonwealth portraits are due. They always get the blessing of the king, of the monarch. And of course, he's facing left as opposed to right, because it alternates for each monarch. And of course, how many Commonwealth nations are left other than, with the king on them? Well, the big ones, we know that Australia, Canada now, it's official, and the United Kingdom, and likely we'll see Cook Islands and others, and that will take place. But many nations like Niue, Fiji Islands, and others have stripped away. They don't have the monarch on their coins. They have the seal. Samoa I don't think ever was a Commonwealth nation. They're not a Samoa, but there's another African country that had it. But nonetheless, there you have it. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. A fascinating bit of news here. This is big news because this is going to affect many stackers. Are going to start seeing the king's effigy now on maple leafs. And this is what it's going to look like for all of us bullion collectors out there, for sure, bullion stackers. The Canadian maple leaf is going to have a big change. This is the biggest change at the Royal Canadian Mint in 70 years. So I like to bring you news on things like this, on that's going to affect stackers, and certainly what's on our pieces that we accumulate is important. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.